Welcome to the Nuff Said Podcast, episode 35. It's deja vu all over again. I am your host, Rambunctious Rob Southgate. With me is
the Avenging Alil, and I'm avenging from the past sins we must have done because this is take three.
Take three. It's take three that we remember. I think we blocked some of this out. This is ridiculous. So that the listener knows what we're talking about, we recorded this episode last week, our news episode, and after like 10 failed attempts to get a news show together, we kept having, Jack was going to be on, and then we were trying other things, and it just kept falling apart. We finally recorded an episode last week, hour and a half. And then I think you and I talked for another hour offline and went, oh, we should have recorded that. And then something happened to the audio. So here we are, attempting again. There's going to be so much that falls through the cracks. Let's just say that was our greatest episode. Pure gold. We apologize in advance because this is going to be a complete train wreck. Other than, I hope you've looked up who Kyle MacLachlan is at this point.
I have. I remember now. I remembered, I looked him up quickly while we were talking, and I did remember.
Excellent. All right, so here's the deal. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk news up front. So it was announced, we had SDCC happen in the middle of all this too. All these different attempts at doing a news show. We still had all this stuff come pouring out of San Diego, and it seems like every day there's more stuff coming forward. So one of the big things that happened last week, so skipping past San Diego, is they announced a couple of new cast members for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one being Kyle MacLachlan, who last week when we talked about it, you couldn't remember who he was, Alil.
I couldn't. You know what?
Yeah.
And I'll admit, sometimes, name gets away, but yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. And once you said it, and then I looked it up, I was just like, oh, God, I know this guy.
And you're like, oh, yeah, Showgirls. Now I know who you're talking about.
Which is the best movie ever made. So.
That's your jam right there. You know what? I beg to differ. First of all, he was on Twin Peaks, which, right there, Agent Cooper. That's it. 4 stars. He's done. I'm already in. But he was in Dune. He was in Showgirls, your favorite. He was in one of my top probably 5 sci-fi movies, which was The Hidden. Now, have you watched this yet, or do you know what this is?
I've heard it. I don't remember it. I literally cannot put my finger on The Hidden. I'm almost positive I've seen it because I'm looking it up.
Yeah, when this movie came out, I remember when it came out a long time ago, it was kind of like an indie sci-fi movie. He had already done Blue Velvet and was kind of known, especially in the indie scene he was known. And then he did this sci-fi movie called The Hidden. And oh my God, did I love this movie. And it wasn't in theaters that I know of. I never saw it in a theater. It was one of those direct to VHS, and way back before DVD. That's right. There was a time before DVD. And sadly, you and I remember that time. I remember Betamax time, so that's even sadder.
Yeah, I was a little kid. I remember Betamax, but we never owned one.
Yeah, my dad, that was the big thing. It was VHS or Beta. Which one do you get? He went for Beta. Way to go, Dad. And it the remote was it was this little remote that just said play and fast forward. It didn't even have rewind on it or stop. And it was connected with a cable that was the size of a coax cable. And it was probably 40 feet long, this cable. So you could sit on one end of the room and work it, but it was this ridiculous, if you wanted to stop what you were watching or rewind, you had to get up and go up to the machine and push the button. So yeah, pretty ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. That never happens on this show. No, we're always right on topic. The Hidden came out. It was on VHS. And to me, it was just the most awesome movie. You've got Kyle MacLachlan playing, I don't want to tell you what he is. Spoiler, he's an alien. I think I told you. And there's an alien that's crash landed on Earth, and what it does is it goes from body to body, stealing the heads. It has an affinity for heavy metal music, and it hangs out with strippers and fast cars. It likes fast cars. So it steals fast cars, goes to strip clubs, and plays heavy metal music. And the whole time, Kyle MacLachlan and this other cop who doesn't know he's an alien are hunting down the Hidden. It's the best movie ever. It's fantastic.
It sounds like it. I mean, it sounds...
It really is. The sequel is absolute garbage. I loved it so much at one point, I wanted to buy the rights to make a comic book of The Hidden. And I was talking with one of our podcasters, Charles, who is he's actually a writer. He wrote DC stuff, and he's written stuff for he wrote some Star Trek stories that were published. We were talking about this, and I said, how much I love this and how I wanted to do that. And he said, oh my God. He said, my thing is Twin Peaks. He goes, it's the same thing. It's Kyle MacLachlan. He goes, I wanted to do a 3rd season of Twin Peaks. So if I ever get the opportunity, I want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, that and The Hidden. Heck yeah. So there you go. We got Kyle MacLachlan on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. How exciting for me. And we got Lucy Lawless, which, once again, how exciting for me.
I'm a big fan of Lucy Lawless. I think she's great. I was waiting for her to pop up in some of these superhero shows somewhere. I mean,
I'm surprised it's taken so long for her to pop up here. Now, she has been on Parks and Rec, and she was on, what is it, Rome or Spartacus or one of those. But she's like Nathan Fillion, where you're like, really? Why isn't she in one of these Marvel properties yet? She's just that kind of actress, just waiting for it to happen. And here we go. I don't know who she's playing yet, but I got to say, it's not going to be wasted time.
Well, she's already been in a Marvel movie. Well,
not she in a Marvel movie?
Not a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Uh-oh. Okay, what one?
The first Spider-Man.
Was she? What was she in the first?
She had a brief cameo where it was like in the middle when he first got the costume, when he first made the costume, and he was going on this clip show of him stopping all these crimes, and they were interviewing all these people, and she was dressed all like punk rock, and she said something like,
"Oh, that was her."
Yeah,
I remember that. Oh my gosh, hey, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I know, but it was still funny.
So we still don't know who she's going to play.
Well, it says on IMDb that her character's name is Isabel Hartley.
Any idea who that is?
No, that's what I can recall.
The daughter of Bob Newhart. His character was Bob Hartley on the Bob Newhart show.
Yeah, you've lost me.
Man, you are easy to lose. Come on. Okay, Isabel Hartley. I'm looking at the Marvel wiki here. This is so weak. People are listening going, what's wrong with them? They don't know their Marvel stuff. No, actually, it just says that she is S.H.I.E.L.D. Status is alive, and she's from the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So it's
understandable that we don't know who she is.
Yeah, she was made for the show.
It says, Isabel Hartley is a longtime agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who always has a knife by her side. Aw. That sounds kind of sweet, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then Kyle MacLachlan is playing Skye's father. And at first it said, when we did the show a week ago, all that we had news of was that his name was the Doctor. Now they've changed that, and I've seen it as something else. I don't know what it is, but even that doesn't matter. Those are all smokescreens, because we know that it's Skye's father, whoever that is. Now, a while ago, I read that, and I think it was Skye that may have revealed it, Chloe Bennett, that her father is going to be Karnak, who is one of the Inhumans. And that brings us to news that broke today. I don't know if you saw this, but they have announced that because of the Guardians of the Galaxy success, which when we recorded last week, the success was not solidified. Now it's huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
As Ninja Turtles fades in the background very quickly, I think Guardians is going to pick up more money this week when everyone goes, yeah, I don't need to see the Turtles. Let's get some more Guardians going. But they've announced that it looks like they're moving right ahead with the Inhumans, which, if Karnak's out there, makes sense, right?
It does. I mean, it's a perfect fit. And Vin Diesel dropped this, a week and a half ago? He just dropped something on, I think it was on Facebook or Twitter, that he had another meeting with Marvel, and Marvel thinks he's Inhuman.
Right.
So, all of a sudden, everything started buzzing. Who's he going to play? What's he going to be? Is he in the Inhumans? Are they doing the Humans? So
I'll tell you who he is. He's Black Bolt.
Yeah. But
I mean, Black Bolt, he'd be perfect for Black Bolt.
But Black Bolt doesn't talk. I mean, so he's going to be in 2 Marvel properties where he doesn't say a word.
No, he says
4 words. Sorry.
I am Groot.
Yeah, and then he'll just scream in this one. But yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we may be wrong, but he just seems like I look at Black Bolt and I'm like, oh yeah, Vin Diesel would be perfect for that character. But we could be wrong. I mean, he could be anybody.
True.
Except for Medusa.
Yeah, you never know. Put a wig.
So do you think they'll get a Medusa that we don't know of yet? Or do you think they'll get somebody like, what's her name that was Gwen Stacy?
Emma Stone?
Yeah. Give her that hair. I think she'd be great.
I don't know if she's going to do another superhero property. I just don't. I don't see her doing another one.
No, I think she'd be game for it.
Maybe. I mean,
I could be completely wrong, but I think just like they did with Captain America, they said, hey, here's a guy that everybody likes. That's perfect. Why don't we bring him to our side of the fence? And now nobody thinks of him as Johnny Storm. They think of him as Cap.
True.
So I could see that happening.
And she is in Birdman, so I guess that is another
See?
superhero property.
Yeah, she seems like a geek. I think that you're misjudging her a little bit.
No, not that I don't think that she would
Stop
do it.
misjudging.
Not that I don't think that she would do it, but she's got a wide range of movies that she's into. So
Right.
It's just like, with Spider-Man, it's probably taken up a lot of her time and a lot of her desire to do certain projects, and she's probably made a big payday. So now she wants to move on to do other things.
She wants to win an Oscar. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, whoever it's going to be, Medusa's going to be awesome. That's a good character. And you know what? Medusa, like if you read the FF series, which is the Fantastic Four, but it's not. It's about the kids and then how these other people they went off out into space. I don't know if you read this comic, but the Fantastic Four went off into space with their kids, and other people had to step in and be the Fantastic Four in their absence. Medusa is one of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, cool. Is that new? Is that going out right now?
I don't know if it's still on. I'm way back on like week 20 of Marvel Now.
Okay.
And they're on like week 68. So I'm a little behind. But she was in that. I actually like that series. I know there was not a lot of love for it because they're like, it's not the Fantastic Four, but I liked it. I liked Medusa on there. I kind of liked the whole thing. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So speaking of Spider-Man, once again, since last week, even more news has hit from that. So when we talked about it last time, we were talking about how there was the potential of canceling Spider-Man 3.
Correct.
And then they came out and said, no, we're not canceling it, but it's getting put back a little bit. Well, that's because the critical success of Spider-Man 2 was not good. It made a lot of money, but people didn't like it.
Yeah, but it still didn't make a lot of money either. I mean, it
didn't make a lot like it should.
Yeah, exactly. For Sony, it was pitiful.
Right. And then they said that everything was kind of on hiatus. And then, I don't know, this week, Sony's right back to saying, hey, we're committed to this. Sinister Six is happening. They gave dates. They said Sinister Six, then the Venom movie, and now they've said it's Venom Carnage, which is crazy. How do you do that without Spider-Man?
I don't know.
And make it work. And is Spider-Man in all these movies? He better be, because you know what? Sinister Six without Spider-Man, not so great. Venom Carnage, yeah, it could be interesting. Agent Venom without Spider-Man works. Venom without Spider-Man, I'm not so interested.
Yeah, but even Agent Venom without Spider-Man, he still doesn't get the spider abilities with the Agent Venom.
Right, you got to have the origin where you find out everything about him, and Spider-Man has to make an appearance. But to make him a main character, you can get away without it.
Right.
But I don't think you can have a Venom movie and tell a Venom story with not forget Agent Venom without Spider-Man being there. I just don't think it's possible.
I agree, and I hope you're
not
right.
In the beginning.
I hope you're right. I hope the Sinister Six is not a villain-centric movie. It's Spider-Man in it, and it's
like
kind
Spider-Man
of
shows up for 5 minutes. That would be terrible.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. I think this movie would bomb if that was the case.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's also the big thing. There's a lot. Oh, and they've also said that Spider-Man 3 happens after that, and I think it's, what did they say, 2017 or something for Spider-Man 3?
2018.
They pushed it a year out. Yeah. So I'm a Spider-Man fan. I've liked the movies. When I look back on them, especially when you compare it to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, no, it's not that great. When you compare it to this last X-Men movie, it's like, yikes. Not that great, but enjoyable. I think that when you compare it to this Fantastic Four reboot, Spider-Man 2 might be a piece of pure gold. I'm a little nervous about Fantastic Four, although that image of the Thing was pretty darn sweet. Did you see that?
Yeah, and it looked like it came right out of the comics. It looked like an Alex
awesome.
Ross statue.
It did. And on our Tumblr page, we put it up there, and Fox made us take it down.
Oh,
so that was real. A lot of people are saying, "Is this a real thing?" It had to be real. So anyone that sees my computer right now, it's still sitting on my computer, but I can't share it. So if you missed it, you missed it. But yeah, that image was really sweet. So anyway, Spider-Man, I mean, there's also all those rumors still circulating that he's going to, that they're going to make some kind of deal with Marvel. And I know there was a thing, an April Fool's joke that went around about this. but it's just interesting how that one keeps hanging around.
Well, that keeps coming back, and then there was another joke I kept seeing posted that again I saw I think it was April Fool's Day this year that Sony and not Sony, but Marvel and Fox made a deal for like almost $2 billion for X-Men,
Yeah.
and
that's not
it's
real
it's rumors because anybody can put anything they want on the internet, and people are just gonna go out there and just make up stuff.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure. I mean, it's like reading League of Geeks. You know that it's all full of. Oh, wait a minute.
That's all
right.
accurate.
It's 100%.
And those podcasters know their stuff.
Yeah, they do. Well, two of them do. The one who didn't like Ninja Turtles, he's a little questionable.
That is true.
So you got to listen to League of Geeks to find out which one didn't like Ninja Turtles.
And there's only one.
There's
I'm
only
not gonna
one.
Tell you who, but that one got a beating.
And might be the sanest one. Are you going to say that?
I don't want to start a fight for next week.
I do, because I'm going to see two of you together. I want cage match. I want to see somebody get their face punched in.
Yeah. I think I got that text the next day that I should have punched you in the face. So. I just gave it away.
Yep. Spoiler. Well, for anyone that listens to your show.
That's right.
For all 7 people that listen.
Yeah, for all the
somebody just got spoiled.
Well, it's 2 because the other 5 are me continues to play it on Stitcher.
Yeah, I listened to it, so there's another one. Boy, we've almost accounted for everybody.
There you go.
I think Steve's too busy listening to this show, so he's not really listening to that one. So he doesn't count. But what do you think? Sean's listening?
No, we don't play. We don't play enough hip hop.
Oh, yeah, tough to him. So let's see what else has been happening. There was lots of stuff about. Oh, well, it was announced officially. Now I thought this had already happened, but Punisher, Ghost Rider, and Blade are all back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now I thought that Punisher and Ghost Rider were, but Blade was not, and now it is.
Correct, and I think something fell through the cracks with that because Blade was owned by New Line, and then when New Line merged with Warner. There must have been something with the contracts. They
didn't produce one in the right amount of time because that's been the problem. That's why some of these things, like why Sony keeps pushing these Spider-Mans. If they don't produce a movie in a certain amount of time, it reverts back to Marvel.
Just like Fox did with Daredevil. They missed They attempted. I guess they had a script written. They were trying to get it in pre-production, and they just couldn't get it out in time, and they just gave up. So.
And I gotta say, I'm not too sad about that because I want Daredevil in my Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And we'll get him.
I think I've said that 1,000 times on this show. Plus, I mean, when we start talking about these Netflix shows, I mean, I'm still saying it's Daredevil in phase 2 of Netflix. And I'm out of my mind over that because they're not going to make it like those movies. I like Thomas Jane. I liked him as Punisher quite a bit, but those movies were not Punisher. They missed the story.
Right.
And if you have a Netflix show, a Netflix show is going to be 12 hours. It's like a 12-hour Punisher movie.
And they could do a lot more with it. See, the Thomas Jane movie had more of a story to it, but not enough of the Punisher violent streak. Then Punisher.
Well, it also screwed up the story though because it had him in Miami.
The Miami thing.
It was like they were trying to do a superhero movie without the superhero stuff, but now we see put him in the costume and have it in that universe. Now you can have him in that universe. You can have him pair up with Daredevil. How awesome would that be?
That would be that's what everybody will wait for. I'm telling you that would be like a season finale or however they do it. Hour 12, hour 13, and you're gonna get that crossover. Those two guys. You're gonna get that comic, the Frank Miller issue where you're seeing Daredevil getting pummeled by the Punisher. I mean, that's just.
That's worth the price of admission right there. I can't wait.
But I wouldn't mind seeing Thomas Jane come back and reprise.
No, I wouldn't either. Did you ever see that short film he made
with Ron Perlman? Yes, I did. It
it
was awesome.
It was like an indie version of the Punisher.
He did it himself.
I think it was like a pitch reel to show this is what the Punisher could be, and you can look it up. I think it's on YouTube. It is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it really is what the Punisher should be. So bring Thomas Jane back. I'm okay with that. I actually have no problem with that. I think he's the right age to be the Punisher too.
Yeah, and he's got the look. I mean, I know he's blonde, but when he dyed his hair black, it didn't deter
Yeah,
it.
no, he looked like him when he was dyed black. Who really, really looks like him, but there's no way is the guy that plays Don on Mad Men,
Okay.
Don Draper.
Yeah.
Just think about him. He looks exactly like Frank Castle. And Jack and I have talked about this before. You know who else he would be good if they ever did? Because we have this dream of doing the Marvel stuff as Marvel like 68. So like Spider-Man 68 is a series we want to make. So it's just like Batman, but it's Spider-Man with the ill-fitting costumes and the weird campiness. When you have Shield show up, he plays Nick Fury in Spider-Man 68.
Who, John Hamm?
Yes.
Oh wow,
that's my dream casting.
I can see him as Nick Fury, the '60s Nick Fury, that style.
Oh yeah,
over,
would he be awesome?
Over the Punisher. I can see him because.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as the Punisher, he looks like the Punisher. Is all I'm saying. But I think he would be '60s Nick Fury. He would be killer as '60s Nick Fury.
I wish they could do that to somehow time it.
How do we make this happen?
Multiple Nick Furies and somehow
how do we make this happen? Southgate Media Group is going to pair with Marvel, and we're going to make this series. And Alil, we're going to throw you a bone. You can come to the premiere at a discounted price.
At double the price.
At double the price. I tell you what, you can have all the free popcorn you can get off the floor.
Awesome.
That's right.
I'll be
there. That's
there.
love.
I'll be there.
You're like, wow, I'm getting treated better here than anywhere.
I was going to say, yeah. Especially after my Turtles episode.
Oh, let's not even talk about it.
But, you're right. You know what? That would actually be... You know what? Here's perfect.
Okay.
You do that in Agent Carter. You bring him as the original Nick Fury in Agent Carter.
As much as I want my dream to happen, let that happen. Let that really happen.
And you make Nick Fury like
the 60s Nick Fury with, you
make him like James Bond. Like anybody can be Nick Fury. It's a status inside S.H.I.E.L.D. that when you become director, you
are Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. So then we can have that, and we can have the continuation
that's
passed
beautiful.
The mantle to Sam Jackson, and we've got it.
That is beautiful.
Because then
you find out that Lola is his car then. And that's how Agent Coulson gets his hands on Lola now.
Maybe Agent Coulson is his son.
Oh. So like his real name back then was Coulson, but when he took the position, he became Nick Fury?
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
Oh, it's awesome. Why aren't they hiring us to help with this?
Okay, can I get a little bit more than some free popcorn off the floor now?
You know what? You can drink all the sodas you can find on the floor.
Awesome.
Yep, that's right.
At least I'll get a clean straw.
Okay, don't push it.
All right. But you know what? I think that would be a lot of fun, especially for the Agent Carter show.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Do that and then be able to, because I don't want them to deter from Agent Carter. But then I think you can then build in another spin-off for 60s Nick Fury.
When we were talking about this whole 68 Spider-Man thing, we were joking, and then we kind of became obsessed with it. And the reason that evolved was they don't own Spider-Man, but from what I understand, they can do this stuff on TV. So they don't want to do a Spider-Man on TV that's, current Spider-Man, because then you're competing with your own property. And let's face it, Spider-Man is still their property.
Right.
So they don't want to create this confusion or mess with the brand, but this doesn't mess with the brand. This creates something unique that they can do whatever they want with, make it campy and weird. And it doesn't cross over in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it creates a whole new offshoot.
Yeah.
And it competes with Batman 66, which, hey, they did Batman 66, but has DC been able to put anything like that together again? No. The comics are awesome, but they're not doing anything. Like, DC would never take a risk like that. Marvel, I think, would. And how awesome if, Ghost Rider 68 showed up. Daredevil 68.
In the yellow costume.
Yes, in the yellow costume! Yes! Thor in that 68 costume. So it's the big bands with the big helmet, but it doesn't look as good. It looks like the one from the Death of the Incredible Hulk. It looks more like that.
Oh God! No, so you could also bring in Lou Ferrigno because he still looks good. He's still huge.
Would that be amazing? But you don't make him look like he did in the 70s. Like, you change the hair a little bit. You make it look a little bit more like the comic Hulk, but you have Lou Ferrigno.
And you know what?
Oh,
paint him gray. Paint him gray and have.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you don't want to use Lou Ferrigno for the Hulk, you let him be General Ross and then turn him into the Red Hulk in the 68 series.
Yeah, but see that because that takes everything out of continuity for the Incredible Hulk movie.
I don't care. This is a campy TV show. This is a campy TV show. It doesn't matter.
True.
It's completely out of context with that. It's just a fun, let's have fun with these characters and see what else we can do. It's just like, when they're talking about doing stuff with Pixar, they're saying the Pixar stuff that they're talking about, they're like, do we make this canon or we don't? They're kind of staying away from it because they're afraid it'll cross over into canon. Well, okay, don't make it canon. This is its own universe. This is a singular thing. Now, let's talk about that. Let's get off this subject for a second. Let's talk about that for a second, too. You've got all the Marvel cartoons, and this is something that I think they've failed at greatly. Some of them have been okay, but when you compare them, once again, you compare those to the DC cartoons. The DC movies are not as good, I don't think. I do like the Batman ones, and I'm a fan of them. I like the Superman ones. I just don't think, like, Green Lantern was so friggin' horrible. I think that they haven't gotten their movie thing right. And where they're really failing is they don't know how to make a unified film universe. They're trying to do it now, and I'm telling you, it looks like a train wreck to me. I don't think they're going to put this together the same way. I'm hopeful they do.
They can't,
but I don't think they will.
No, they can't because they don't want to mimic. That's why
Well, and here's where they have a problem. They're not letting the TV shows. The Arrow from TV is not in the movie. Are you dumb? S.H.I.E.L.D. works because it's a spin-off of the movies. The characters from the movies are in the show. It just builds that universe. And then everything you do on the show becomes part of that collective memory. Whereas this, you watch Arrow, you watch The Flash, and then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, it's a different Flash. It's a different Arrow. It doesn't work the same way.
No, I agree.
So what I was saying, though, is their cartoons, which also are not part of their universe. I love the cartoons. And I think Marvel misses that boat. I think Marvel could look at how they do their cartoons, take classic Marvel storylines, things that hey, we're not making this into a movie, and really do the cartoon. Planet Hulk, they did it with. I don't think that cartoon was very good.
No.
And I also think they could redo that and make an absolutely incredible cartoon, and that would help cool this whole thing of when are they doing Planet Hulk?
Right. I agree, because Planet Hulk would be an entire CG movie. So why don't you get which they now have a very good animation studio behind them. The thing with DC, and I'm gonna shameless plug, we reviewed a lot of these movies on the League Geeks, and we're reviewing the newest one, the Batman Assault on Arkham, this week. But
nice.
And I'm the Marvel fanboy of the group, but I'm gonna tell you, I never watched any of these. These are not kids' cartoons. These are mature cartoons. And
I think that's where they get it right. It's
exactly
just like the comics. When you watch that Dark Knight, the Frank Miller one, that 2-part cartoon is amazing.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
Possibly the best Batman movie.
Yeah,
I love the Dark Knight trilogy, but I'm telling you, if you watch that last Dark Knight movie and then you watch the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, it's like, oh God, this is so much better.
Yeah,
it's so much better.
And it's even some of the other ones that I wasn't anticipating. Because and that's the thing that blew me away. I popped in, or I turned on Netflix, and I was watching the Under the Red Hood.
I loved that one. I watched that one too.
So I'm watching it with my 3-year-old. Not the thing to do.
No.
I took him to
I
Guardians
watched it with a
Galaxy.
10-year-old, and I got a little nervous there.
I took him to Guardians. To me, that's okay. But this, where the opening scene is the Joker is beating Robin, spoiler alert, to a pulp with a crowbar. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And my son's looking at me. He's like, what's the Joker doing? And I'm like, we're turning this off. It's like, here's Batman brave and bold,
Did you ever see the Batman Beyond movie, the Return of the Joker?
Yes, I have it on DVD.
The director's cut on that is
it's
fantastic.
Good. Very good
and
movie.
It's got that wild scene where the Joker kills, and you're like, wow, this is dark.
Yep, my son has not.
And the Marvel ones, like the movies, they're funny and they're supposed to be family entertainment. They go a little racy, but they're family entertainment. I think they could take that sliver of what they do, make them animated, make them straight to Netflix or DVD, and you can tell those stories that you're not telling in the Marvel universe. Yet make them canon. do the Thor God Killer storyline, which I really enjoyed, and it's not one that they're ever going to film. But
Nope.
if you made an animated film out of it, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories that, even like we were talking about with the Punisher, you know, even if they don't go with the Netflix series for him, I wouldn't mind seeing a cartoon, but a violent, properly done
Yes.
cartoon. You know,
Right, right.
and
So let's talk for a second about some other news because we're getting off track here and we're
That's
running
right.
out of time. So one big thing that came out, once again, this happened from San Diego. They really started hyping the fact that they are working on a Black Widow film.
yeah,
I mean, it's
they
something that
their
they're actively
scripts.
pursuing.
Yeah, it
And
looks like she'll be the first one to get her solo movie.
I am totally down with that. I've talked about my love of this character before, and it's not just because it's Scarlett Johansson. I think that the Black Widow series is ripe for films, and I think that if they make it superhero-y, no, I think we're going to get burnout if everything they put out is superhero, and I think they've done a good job of not doing that. But I think if you take the Black Widow and you make it like espionage,
Right.
James Bond, don't give her superpowers. Let her be who she is.
And it's a prequel.
I think you've got something awesome.
A prequel before
Yeah, you
any
said
of the
this
Shield
before.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes, do the Winter Soldier story with
Right.
her as the prequel. Oh my gosh,
that's what you need. You need her back in Russia, back in the, well, she's young, so I was going to say like in 80s, but even back 10 years prior to the Avengers. When you hear the story, you hear Loki pulling at her strings in the Avengers about her
Yep.
past, the red
Yes.
on her, on her card or whatever it was.
yes,
And
let's see that stuff.
that's what we want to see. That would be
Before
the
and
movie.
when you think about Avengers, I mean, when she was recruited into the Avengers, she was there before the other ones. She was brought in as kind of a specialist. I think she was brought in to that team before they had supers. And she just happens to be so friggin' great at what she does, and she's so much like them that that's how she became kind of the recruiter. But she doesn't have necessarily superpowers.
Nope.
When you compare her to, Iron Man in the suit, when you compare her to Hulk or Thor, she's not doing that stuff.
No, we saw
She's
it
just amazing at what she does.
Yeah, we saw in Iron Man 2 when she broke in to Hammer Industries and started taking everybody down. That's what we want to see.
Exactly. That's what I want to see. Now, I'm surprised there hasn't been any word of a Hawkeye thing. And this is something else that we've kind of addressed because we've talked about these Netflix shows and how they're doing the 4 of them. And then I'm sure phase 2 is on the books. Now, Hawkeye, I think is ripe. If you look at that Hawkeye book that's current, it's amazing. It's so good. That would be another unique property. And I think that would be ripe for a TV show more than a movie. And I also think if you do that, now you can introduce Kate, who is kind of the female Hawkeye. Because she's the one that stepped in for Hawkeye in the Young Avengers before he was there, or when he was gone. And frankly, I'm all for these female leads, and I think Kate is an awesome character.
No, I'm with you, and I think you're right. I mean, the only issue I would say is that I don't know if, but I guess I could be wrong because you're seeing a lot of big time actors doing these type of series now on TV. I mean, we got McConaughey.
Well, especially when you talk these Netflix shows. What's the commitment? 12 episodes?
Yeah, exactly. 12 hours. You're done.
Yeah. And look at like Fargo. You had Billy Bob Thornton do Fargo.
Yep. You had
McConaughey. That's not a guy who does TV.
Woody Harrelson. They did on HBO.
Exactly. True Detective.
True Detective.
Exactly. So getting like really A-list actors to do these things, it's not a huge commitment. I'm sure they make a fair amount of money at these things, like the studios and that.
Right.
Think about Daredevil. It's street level. They don't have to have all these huge special effects. So it's not costing them a fortune like an Avengers movie does. Yet we're getting that rich story and we're getting essentially a 12-hour Daredevil movie. Have I mentioned I'm excited about that?
Just a few times. Just a few times.
It's like, first of all, how long before I can pre-order that on Amazon? I always talk about, I'm going all digital. Until that comes out, then it's like, Blu-ray me with the Daredevil. Heck yeah, take my money.
No,
You're going to take my money.
I want the yellow suit. I really do.
Oh, the yellow suit. So do I. You know what? I want to see the different. I mean, there's variations of that Daredevil costume also. I want to see them do that. I want to see them. You've got 12 hours to play with. Let's see some of that stuff. But that yellow suit has got to make an appearance.
I really hope so. I really do.
I think they're missing the boat if they don't do some of that.
Well, if they don't, then we'll just do it in the 66 or 68, whatever you call it.
Spider-Man 68. Heck yeah. Daredevil in the yellow suit. Ghost Rider with a big foam, like, flaming head. So that you don't even have CGI effects. You just have, like, a skull, and it obviously is like a mask, and then you have, like, some kind of weird fake flames coming off of it.
And here's the best thing, too.
Actually, you wouldn't even need that. You just have the skull, and then when he walks out, like, you see smoke. Because it's 68. They wouldn't have had flame effects.
Right. And you know what? They could fight the Invisible Man for an episode. You save money. Everyone's pretending they're being punched in the face, and it's over.
That'd be awesome.
I'm just thinking now back to the 66 Spider-Man cartoons now, all the different crazy villains that they had. I love that.
You can use that show as inspiration. I mean, right there, they own the rights to the song. Use the song.
Oh my gosh.
The song that they overused in Spider-Man. They overused it in Spider-Man 2. Redo it the right way. Use it for this show. And, make the costumes. Let Alex Ross design the costumes.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
It'd be amazing. And you can go anywhere because they own the rights to the TV characters. You could go anywhere with these characters.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the standard red and blues like he is.
That's right.
I like it. And then we would get webbing under the arms.
Oh, you'd get that. You'd get like a real over-the-top J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was great in the movie, but let's get one that's really J. Jonah Parker all the time. That'd be awesome.
That would be. I would be.
You get the right Aunt May.
So on board.
And you don't do it as an origin story. You forget all that stuff. You start it, bam, right in the middle of the story.
Exactly. We don't need to know how it happened. It just happened.
No. You don't have to keep going back and digging that emotional thing. Who cares?
And I bet
you can have Uncle Ben in his ear. With great power comes great responsibility. But let's not do anything beyond that.
Nope. I would still like to see J.K. Simmons come back as J. Jonah Jameson.
He was awesome, wasn't he?
I think you throw that wig on him and that mustache, and I think he could go even crazier.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, a lot more fun than whatever that show is now, where he plays the blind guy.
I don't even watch.
I'd much rather see him as I'd rather see him as J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, I think he's a blind guy. He might be deaf. He's got something going on.
He's blind, deaf. I don't know. He can't taste.
All I want is a hatred for Parker. That's what I want.
That's awesome.
All right. I'm wrapping this one up because we got other things to do. So, Alil, do you have any final words before we jump ship on this one?
No. I think we're good to go.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody. You can find past episodes of this and all of our other podcasts on our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com. Hey, I've got something else. We're on all the different social media. Find us on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. You can also find Alil on his podcast. Go ahead, Lil, give that out.
TheLeagueofGeeks.com, and that's geeks with a Z. That's the website. The podcast is the League of Geeks podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, everything else.
It's basically wherever you find our stuff, you can also find League of Geeks.
Yep, we're all over
with
the place.
A Z.
With a Z.
Geeks with a Z. And go ahead and give your Twitter too.
Twitter is LOGEEKZ.
And for this show, it's Nuff Said Pod for Twitter, or you can tweet with me at rsouthgate, which, for R Southgate, I do all of our stuff from our network. We have 40 different shows. In fact, we just added a new Doctor Who show that nobody's heard yet, and it's fantastic. But I digress again. I did want to announce that we are doing something really cool. Coming up next week is the Wizard World Chicago Comic Con, and we are actually hosting a couple of VIP events there. So if you're interested in trying to get a ticket, there are very limited tickets. Tweet me. It is first come, first serve. If we have any tickets available, I will definitely let you know how to get one. It's very limited, and we have some super cool stuff. We have a My Little Pony tribute band coming, the Shakeups in Ponyville. It's going to be at this Mexican restaurant called Adobe Hilas, which is going to be great. But once again, you can't get in without a ticket, so you could show up and cry and scream and kick, and guess what? You're just getting hauled out of there by a Lil dressed as RoboCop, because there is going to be cosplay. And we're also working on getting we're hoping this happens, a Doctor Who tribute band. So crazy stuff going to happen at this thing. If you want to go, tweet me at rsouthgate. And I think there was something else I was going to bring up. Oh, Alil and I, actually two things. At the Thursday one, we're doing these VIP things, one on Thursday, one on Sunday. The Thursday one, we're going to be doing live podcasting. I think we're going to do a Nuff Said roundtable. So hopefully we'll have a Lil. We might have Sean in on that one. We might have Blair, who's a blogger that writes about this stuff, and Frank, who is from another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. And we might even have one of the Level 7 guys. Ben might be there. So fingers crossed on that. So if you want to see it live, that might be the only chance you have is that Thursday. But you got to have a ticket. You got to contact me. And we are doing a panel at Wizard World that night, podcasting and journalism. So if you're going to Wizard World, check us out there. It is going to be Southgate Media Group Palooza for us. It's going to be awesome. All right, I think I'm done. Are you done? Are you done, Alil?
Yes, I'm out of breath just listening to you.
You're out of breath. Try me and me. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks again for listening. This is Rambunctious Rob Southgate, and
The Avenging Alil.
That's it. Until next time, Nuff Said.
Enough said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.